Hello everyone and welcome back to another average review. And I am very excited because today we're going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Captain America and Venom 2-pack. Now, it isn't labeled Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but these are very clearly the designs from that game, so that's just what I'm going to call it. Now, the packaging is very nice. You, of course, have the Marvel Legends and Gamerverse logos, but the actual box is, well, pretty nicely themed to the Marvel vs. Capcom games. What with the character-specific logos for Cap and Venom, and this dark blue background with a couple of pixelated stars here on the sides. On the actual sides of the box, though, we have some pretty nice pixel art of Captain America along with the shot of the figure, and once again, that pixelated logo. Same on the other side, but for Venom. And on the back, we have some pretty cool product shots of, well, Captain America and Venom fighting, along with a bit of cross-promotion for other 2-packs like this one for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which are Wolverine and Silver Samurai, along with War Machine and Omega Red. And up here, we actually get a bio for both Captain America and Venom, although it is the most basic bio for these two characters you could ever get. Either way, the packaging for this 2-pack is very, very nice. But hey, the real thing I'm excited about is the figures inside the box, so let's get them out. Alright, getting these two out of the boxes, and there's actually a lot of new pieces between the two. Let's start off with the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan, Captain America, who was honestly one of the main reasons I bought this set. Now, to my knowledge, there are only two pieces reused from another figure, that being the head and belt from the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends Captain America. Other than that, though, to my knowledge, this figure is a nearly 100% new sculpt. Taking out the aforementioned 20th anniversary Captain America, and yeah, you can see how much bulkier this new one is, which I'm a fan of. I like when Captain America is a really bulky, strong-looking guy to emphasize that, well, he's at the peak of human condition, and this is no different. I mean, the shades of a bright red, whites, and blues are just so well done. The boots are, well, their sculpting is a bit more simple than usual, but I don't have too much of a problem with that. I think that is sort of accurate to how he's drawn in the actual Marvel vs. Capcom promotional art. And the same goes for his very wide star and lack of scales on the chest, which some people, that's definitely going to hold some people back in calling this the best Captain America, but not for me personally. The scales on Cap's chest aren't the biggest deal for me. Now, I'd prefer if he had them, but I think this figure actually looks very good without them. You know, it's very simplistic, which is one of the reasons I love the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 promotional art for Cap. Oh yeah, and here's a quick look at the back of the figure for those that are interested in it. You can definitely see how muscular this version of Cap is on the back. He definitely hasn't been skipping, well, any kind of day in the slightest. But hey, we can't forget the other side of this 2-pack, Venom. Now, Venom looks great. He is blue, but that is accurate to the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 version of Venom, and it's definitely got its own charm. Now, this version of Venom, I wouldn't say has as many new pieces as Cap. That being a bit of reuse from the Venom on the Omega Red body mold, specifically the Walmart exclusive version that had this sort of waist crunch right here. Although he does have his fair share of differences. Now, this is technically the alternate head he came with, but I feel like this is the main head most people will use since it's super accurate to the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 version of Venom, and yeah, it's a completely new sculpt, and it was done very, very well. I mean, I love the detailing on his eyes, and his tongue actually has the green goo painted on, you know, from the game, which looks really, really cool. Now, this is more of a part of Articulation, but unlike the Walmart exclusive version with the diaphragm, joint, and waist crunch, this Venom actually has a new upper torso with a disc hinge like a regular Marvel Legends. Like I said, that's more to do with articulation, but that is a new piece. Speaking of new pieces, I believe these arms are new, as they're bigger than the ones I've seen on other Venom figures, and also, they're completely pinless. Also, the hands look ever so slightly small for them, so that's another sign of them being new pieces. Still, even if the hands look a bit tiny from this angle, these arms still look really good. I mean, this is a really bulky looking Venom. And I should mention, the spider on the front of his chest is very well done. Just like the other versions of Venom on this body mold, it's a bit thin at the back, but still, the paint job is very, very well done. So overall, both Venom and Captain America are amazing versions of the video game versions of, well, two of Marvel's most popular characters. But the question is, does their articulation stack up to how great their sculpting and paintwork is? Well, let's take a look. As mentioned earlier, Venom has a ball joint and a disc hinge in terms of his neck articulation, and the same goes for Cap. Out of the two, I'd say Cap can raise his head higher. Cap also definitely has the better range in terms of looking down, mainly because he doesn't have the massive jaw that Venom has. Although, of course, both figures can spin their head around and get a very, very small amount of tilt side to side. It's more of a wobble, honestly. Another point of articulation that both Cap and Venom share is their bright blue butterfly joints and shoulders. Here's how much forward they get with the butterfly joints. I'd say Venom has the slight edge in this regard. Here's how far back they can bend their arms. I'd say this one's a bit more even. Of course, they can both spin their arms all the way around at the shoulders and raise their arms. Cap gets a bit above 90, while Venom gets just about 90. Of course, they both have bicep swivel, which lets you spin their arms all the way around. And of course, double-jointed elbows, with Venom getting a bit better bend than Cap. Of course, though, both Cap and Venom have Marvel Legends wrists that can spin around and hinge up or down. Now, probably the biggest difference between these two in terms of articulation is the torso articulation. Captain America has the fairly standard ab crunch and waist swivel, while Venom has a diaphragm joint and a waist crunch. So let's have a look and see whose torso articulation gives the better range. Well, I'd say Venom has the slight edge, and Captain America's hunch forward is a little bit disappointing. In terms of the arch back, I'd say Venom also has the edge over Cap. And although Captain America has a waist swivel that lets him spin his torso all the way around, Venom has a diaphragm joint that can spin around, although it does heavily break up the chest spider and tilt side to side. They of course have the Marvel Legends ball-jointed hips that can kick out this far. Venom gets a bit under 90, while Cap gets about 90. And of course, split, with Captain America having a near-perfect split, and Venom's being, well, leaving a lot to be desired. Of course, though, both Cap and Venom have a thigh cut, which lets you spin their legs all the way around. They also both have double-jointed knees, with Cap having an ever so slightly better bend in the knees. Like, it's very, very small of a difference. What isn't a small difference, though, is the fact that Captain America has a boot swivel, which lets you spin his boot all the way around, and Venom doesn't. So that's 1 point for Cap, and one that Venom won't be getting. Of course, though, both Cap and Venom have the Marvel Legends ankles that can inch forward and back, and pivot from side to side. Moving on to the figure comparisons, and we of course have to start out with the standard male and female comparisons, Renew Your Vows, Spider-Man, and Spinneret, which is a pretty good starting comparison for Venom. Now, I should mention, I don't actually know that much about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 besides just, like, the base roster. So I'm mainly going to be focusing on general Marvel comparisons for both Cap and Venom. Starting out with some Avengers, we have the Armored Avenger, Iron Man, both the 80th anniversary and modular versions, since the latter was the costume featured in the early Marvel Capcom games. For some other founding Avengers, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp by Toy Biz and Hasbro, respectively. Of course, for the big guys, we gotta bring out Thor and Hulk. This is specifically the Maximum Hulk with the Smart Hulk head, since the Smart Hulk was actually the version of the Green Goliath featured in the original Marvel vs. Capcom games. For some later additions to the team in the comics, and founding members in the movies, we have Black Widow and Clint Barton, Hawkeye. For some more later additions, we have the retro-carded versions of Scarlet Witch and Vision. And lastly, for the Avengers, Black Panther. For two of Steve's most important allies, though, who've also held the Captain America mantle, we have Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, and Sam Wilson, the Falcon. For someone less virtuous who held the Captain America mantle, though, we have John Walker, the U.S. Agent. Although for some of Captain America's straight-up villains, we have the Toy Biz Baron Heinrich Zemo, the Hasbro Arnim Zola, and of course, Captain America's arch-nemesis, the Red Skull, who looks downright amazing with this new Captain America. Although for something a bit more Marvel vs. Capcom specific, we have the Red Skull as Onslaught Build-A-Figure. Since the regular Onslaught was the main antagonist and final boss of the original Marvel vs. Capcom game. Moving on to some Venom-specific comparisons, we have two different versions of Spider-Man to pair him with if you ain't a big fan of Renew Your Vows or don't own it. That being the retro-carded Spidey on the left and the No Way Home Final Swing Spider-Man on the right. Although for some video game versions of Spider-Man, we have the symbiote suit Peter Parker from Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Miles Morales from his self-titled video game. Although if we're talking about the symbiote suit in video games, and obviously Venom specifically, we have to bring out the deluxe Spider-Man 2 Venom. But hey, Venom can't be the only symbiote we bring out. We of course have to bring out Carnage, but I'm also bringing out the massive deluxe version of Toxin, since he's got a similar red and black color scheme to Carnage, and that green tongue does sort of match the green goop on this Venom's tongue. And hey, since we brought out the Venom from this 3-pack earlier in the video, let's also bring out the Life Foundation 3-pack versions of Agony and Riot. Although to very quickly run through some other characters that appeared in the Marvel vs. Capcom games, we have X-Men 97 and Astonishing X-Men versions of Wolverine, X-Factor Cyclops and Jean Grey, X-Men 97 Gambit and Rogue, Magneto and Colossus, Deadpool and Taskmaster, Doctor Doom, Thanos, and finally, the Juggernaut. But, as is tradition, here's the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Captain America and Venom with Hit Monkey and Goliath. Now the real question is, what do both of these guys come with? Well, starting out with Captain America, and I mean, it's a no-brainer what the most important accessory for a Captain America figure is. Of course, it's his mighty shield, and unlike a lot of other recent Captain America releases, like the 20th anniversary and Secret Wars ones, there isn't a caveat with this shield. It's just a classic Captain America shield. You can clip it onto his wrists like usual, or you can use the peg hole in the back to have him wear it like a backpack. Now, the shield is good, and it actually has its own accessory, but I'm actually having some trouble with it, which is this effect right here, which is meant to be like a sort of bashing effect, which is pretty cool, and you're supposed to just, I guess, plug it, just sort of clip it onto the shield, but no matter which way I do it, or how much force I put onto it, it just doesn't clip onto the shield. It just sort of hangs there like this and sort of spins around and will probably fall off. So that's a little bit annoying. But there's more than just the shield and that effect piece that Cap comes with. He's also got, of course, 2 pairs of hands. The pair he comes with in the box is obviously a tried and true pair of fists. But he's also got a pair of thumbs-up hands, which I guess could also be used for him, like, throwing the shield, maybe. But these are primarily made to recreate this one animation from Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which I think is pretty neat, although I do think it would have worked a lot better if they included the smiling head from the Secret Wars Captain America. Now, this Cap does come with an alternate head. The one in the box is this neutral head reused from the 20th anniversary Captain America, like I've mentioned. He also comes with this yelling head sculpt, and I have to be completely and utterly honest, I don't like this head sculpt at all. I feel like the mouth is just way too big, so it just looks ridiculous. Personally, I would have liked if this screaming head obviously had a smaller mouth and was put with the Secret Wars Captain America, while the smiling head sculpt from Secret Wars Cap was given to this guy instead, since I feel like that'd better match Captain America and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, mainly the thumbs up animation, which, yeah, these thumbs up hands are meant to recreate. Now, Venom may not have a shield or an effect piece, which I feel like is a bit of a missed opportunity since Venom had a lot of really cool symbiote attacks in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I'm not exactly unhappy with what we got. In terms of hands, he comes with, of course, a pair of fists, just like Cap, but he's also got a pair of alternate claw hands, which, I mean, any good Venom figure should come with his trademark claws. But just like Cap, Venom has an alternate head, which is the one I've been showing off throughout the entire video. The head he actually came pre-packed with was this half-transformed Eddie Brock head that came from the Life Foundation 3-pack, albeit this one's obviously in blue, because this is a blue version of Venom. I don't dislike this head sculpt in the slightest. It's one of the coolest Marvel Legends head sculpts, and yeah, it still looks cool here. But I mean, if I'm buying a figure of a Marvel vs. Capcom Venom, I want him to look just like the one from Marvel vs. Capcom, and that's what the alternate head does. Alright, now let's talk about the price of this 2-pack. Now, on the day this 2-pack was revealed and put up for pre-order, I pre-ordered it instantly for the retail price of $60 on Amazon. Now, to my knowledge, this 2-pack is still up on Amazon for that same price of $60. Although, that could change by the time this video is actually done and edited. But the point is, do I think this 2-pack is worth it? Well, for the most part, yes. there's so much new tooling here from pretty much all of Captain America, Venom's new head and upper torso, along with the thumbs up hands and the shield along with its bash effect, even if it doesn't clip onto mine. I feel like those all make for a pretty good package overall, although I could definitely see why some people think 60 is a bit too much. Personally, I think 55 probably would have been a better price. Or, just plain 50. That would have been nice too. So, what are my final thoughts on this 2-pack? Well, overall, after months of waiting, I am very satisfied with these two figures. Cap, despite not having the classic scales, is probably my favorite Marvel Legends Captain America. He's super bulky, he's got the bright colors, a good head sculpt, a classic shield with no caveats, and he's got butterfly joints too. Venom's a very fun addition to my collection, and definitely stands out from pretty much every other Marvel Legends Venom. I think in the Marvel Legends line, this is the first blue Marvel vs. Capcom style Venom we've gotten. And this new head sculpt is just so perfect as a recreation of the Marvel vs. Capcom sprite. So, overall, when factoring in all these positives, along with my two real negatives, which are the shield bash effect not clipping onto the shield and the fact that I kinda hate the yelling head sculpt, I'm gonna give the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Captain America vs. Venom 2-pack a 9 out of 10. It has its flaws, but I'd say this is an amazing set, especially for someone just getting into Marvel Legends. So hey, if you've made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you very much. And second of all, have a great day, 'cause you deserve it. Bye-bye.